All right, welcome back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturtevant. Thank you for staying with us, hanging with us this afternoon. A lot is happening today. I don't want to waste any time. We want to go to something live. We want to go to Austin, Texas, where right now parents of Camp Mystic flood victims are testifying at Texas in front of a Texas Senate committee hearing happening right now. And if you remember, that is the camp that was devastated by the flooding that happened there in the Hill Country on July 4th weekend. Let's take a listen into what's being said right now.
That was evident in everything she did. Her faith in God was deep and unwavering, which Elizabeth and I always emphasize as important, but something that she took to another level all on her own. We continue to find notes and papers of prayers that she wrote to herself that are evidence of her love for our Lord. Molly was radiant, stunning in a way that went far beyond her appearance. Her beauty wasn't just seen, it was felt. Her expressive face told stories of joy, mischief, compassion, and light. Her vivid blue-green eyes held remarkable depth, connecting especially with those who felt unseen. She made people feel known, not just with her words, but with her presence. Molly's beauty was most powerful because it reflected the love and empathy she carried within. Molly's presence brought joy and inspiration to everyone she knew. She lived generously, loved deeply, and left a lasting impression on hearts far and wide. And most importantly, Molly was in ongoing awe of her older sister, Annie. Every minute of every Annie taught her things Elizabeth and I could not. Molly was her biggest fan and always will be. The joy on her face when Annie allowed her to hang with the older girls cannot be put into words. For Elizabeth and I, our greatest life achievements are our daughters, Annie and Molly. What I've noticed over the last several weeks through texts and conversations with our new family seated next to me and behind me is that while Molly was no doubt unique in her own ways, she shared so much in common with her 26 new sisters. These young ladies were cut from the same cloth, destined to lead with love and change this world. And the two counselors from Bubble Inn, and I don't want this to take away from the counselors from Twins, who, as has been previously stated, did everything they knew to do and followed directions. But Molly was in Bubble Inn, and those two counselors, Chloe Childress and Catherine Ferruzzo, were without a doubt a 10-year fast-forward snapshot to where our girls were headed. They were both set to start classes here in Austin this coming Monday. They were loving, strongly rooted in their faith, and selfless. They will forever be heroes in our hearts. When we dropped Molly off at camp, Annie had been for the last 3 years. And on the ride there, she kept on saying, and looking at the clock, she knew she was getting dropped at 10 a.m. She kept on saying, oh, only 45 minutes till I don't see you guys for a month. Only 30 minutes till I don't see you guys for a month. We got out of the car. I gave Annie a big hug. She had been through this before. She looked me in the eyes and said, I got this, Dad. She was homesick every time and worried every time, but she always pushed through. My goodbye with Molly is something I will never forget. She walked up to me. I was on one knee. She gave me a big hug. She pulled back. She grabbed me by both arms, and she looked me directly in the eye. No less than 10 times, with eye contact I had never experienced from this little girl. She said, I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. While I'm so grateful for that goodbye, that moment haunts me today, because shortly thereafter, I pulled the car farther, and I was told, as I'm crying, we got her. She's safe. We drove out of camp. I'm a wreck. and I looked at my wife, Elizabeth, and I said, I don't think we should go out of town, overseas. And my worry was something would happen to us on the plane in another country that we wouldn't be able to go back and pick our daughters up. And never in my wildest nightmares did I think that this is what was going to occur. In short, on July 4th, the world lost 27 lives that were destined to change our landscape forever in their own unique ways. The biggest tragedy is that it never should have happened. This was 100% preventable. We are here before you today as grieving parents, as you've heard, living in an unimaginable nightmare, but also as pillars of strength for our daughters' legacies, to ensure that what happened on July 4th never, ever happens again. Senate Bill 1 is long overdue, reflects common sense life-saving measures that every camp in Texas should be required to undertake, taking the appropriate preventative measures to remove as much possible risk of disaster, in concert with doubling down on detection, training, and response when the disaster does occur. It's the only path forward here. Every camp should consider the location of their buildings and sleeping quarters. Every camp should utilize a functional and effective early warning system. Every camp should have a detailed evac plan that is documented and run through both in and out of camp session. Every camp should have an adequate adult to camper ratio. Corners cannot be cut. Arms cannot be twisted. Gray areas cannot exist. These were our children's lives. Now we fight united for the safety and lives of millions of children that will attend camps in the future. And the future is right now, not the next special session in 27. And I recognize as I look at the 9 of you that this message is not directed at you, but I know this is public testimony. And I'd like to say, for those that may dare to oppose the fundamental principles of this bill, I'd ask that you envision stating your case in front of our 27 daughters. If you had the opportunity to look each of them in the eyes and tell them that their safety and the safety of millions of future campers was not a priority, could you do it? We cannot answer that question for you. In closing, we're humbled and honored as a group for the incredible support we've received from our local communities. We would not be here without you. I drew some inspiration from a quote that Governor Abbott uttered during his own personal story of overcoming a life-altering accident. He said, "Our lives are not defined by our challenges, but by how we respond to them." This is our response. We implore you to join us in that response. Do not waver. Do not hesitate. As Molly would say, let's give 100% effort, 100% of the time. Let's make these 27 amazing girls proud of the way we respond. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Please proceed, state your name.
Thank you, Senators, for hosting us today and letting us share our experiences with you. My name's Ben Landry. I'm Laney Landry's proud father. Laney was killed on the July 4th floods on the banks of the Guadalupe River. Laney left behind her loving mother, Natalie, me, her father, her brothers, Daniel and Luke, grandparents, teachers, coaches, family, and many, many friends. Laney was the caboose of our family. She was our third child, and she was the sweet, loving daughter that Natalie and myself wanted so badly. She made our family whole, but more importantly, she softened out the edges of myself and my boys. She made me the man, the husband, and the father I am today. She truly changed our lives and made us better people. She was the best friend to Daniel and Luke, a great playmate, a great friend to everybody around her, and a kind, caring child. Like you've heard from all of these people, these girls were amazing. And they brought the best out of people around them. And they truly lifted people up to be better. The loss of Lanny has devastated our community and left a hole in our family. While we're full of grief and sadness, we are comforted that she's in heaven with Jesus and that she will lift us up and that she'll lift all of our community up. And so we'll be able to find peace and happiness again. Lanny and the other 26 girls that died at Camp Mystic that night have given our families the strength and focus to fight for these changes. It's clear that the status quo did not work, and important safety standards must be imposed in the camping industry, just as they are in schools, daycares, and industrial, commercial, and manufacturing sites. No emergency plans and no evacuation training is not acceptable. There's not an industry I know that would allow this. I've coached lots of my kids' teams, and I've always told them I will never put you in a position to fail. All of these girls were put in a position to fail. They were told their directions were to fail, and that's what happened that night. These children were put to sleep in a floodplain with no plan for a flood. This must be changed now so this does not happen again. This is an event that was preventable and was caused by years of neglect, ego, and complacency. Never again should these words be used to describe the children's camps in Texas. Our families are welded together in this awful event. We are not here to ask that you take our grief away. The grief represents the everlasting love that we have for our girls. We're asking that you pass this legislation to give us the comfort and hope that this does not happen to another family. They did not, so they don't have to deal with and live through this grief and pain. I want to thank you all for having us today and working to pass this legislation. And I want to give a special thanks to the Texas communities and communities all across the country that have supported us and prayed for us. In particular, I want to thank the St. Michael's and St. Teresa church and school communities in Houston, the SBMSA and Post Oak families, and all of the close families and friends that have loved and cared for us.
You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturdivant. We are 4 minutes past the top of the hour, 1:04. Right there, you're watching parents of Camp Mystic flood victims there in Texas. They're testifying in front of a Texas Senate committee hearing, giving their accounts following the devastating flooding there in central Texas last month.